to, well, I say new weight loss. It's not new weight loss week. Well, it is a new weight loss week, isn't it? But anyway, it's Weight Loss Ask Me Anything. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. It is a new weight loss week. We're still on Monday. Yes, and if I didn't see you this morning, hope you started your weight loss week off as we should be starting our weight loss week off. Joe, I've just been took the dogs for walks. It's a little bit chillier tonight. I put a fleece on and now I'm sat in the office. I'm actually a bit warm. So I think I should take it. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it off. Fleece is coming off. I think I'm going to be too warm sat here for the next hour with this badger on. So that can come off. Lovely. Oh, that's better. That's a bit more comfy. Very nice. Yes, it was meant to rain today, and it hasn't done. The weather has been superb, as it has been for the last few weeks. Yes, very, very, very impressed with today's weather. It's even better when you're expecting it to peak down and it doesn't. Anyway, there we go. How are we all? Have we all had a good day? Let me know in the comments. I'll give it another minute or so. Then I'll do a top 5 on TikTok. And, let me get the chat box up on the old Facebook and YouTube stream. Cool. I think we're set up. I think we're all good. So it's been a good day today. I've straight back into the swing of things. I don't know if you've watched this evening's weekly weight loss vlog. It is out there now. Today's been a little... this weekend has been a little bit calorific, a little bit more calorific than I would have wanted it to be, but it's all good. Straight back at it today. As we sit here now, I've had 1,500 calories today. That is it. Will I be finishing on that? Absolutely not. I'm going to eat half a punnet of strawberries and a protein bar when I get in bed. So I'm going to finish the day on probably around about 1,800 calories. Probably on about 1,800 calories, something like that, is where I'm going to be. Finishing today off. And the prize of the weekend, as always, we've got no real plans this weekend. We're going into Manchester shopping. We're taking my niece on holiday in a few weeks. So Rachel wants to take shopping and get some holiday bits. So that is Saturday. We will be getting food while we're out and about. Probably in the Arndale. I don't know. Is there anyone new? I've not been into Manchester City Centre for ages. Is there any new, I know Poppy will want some sort of, like a Five Guys or a Slim Chickens. Is there anywhere new? Is there a Popeyes in Manchester yet? Or another Chick-fil-A? Is there any sort of new kind of takeaways opened in the centre? Like any new American chains or anything like that? We've just had a Wendy's open in Blackpool. Has anyone ever had I've never had a Wendy's. What's Wendy's like? I have no idea. It's right on the prom, so it's in a bit of a dick of a place to get to, really. And I'm not that. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that desperate to. I'm not that desperate to sort of try it, really. Especially if it had been a drive for it, just been on the outskirts of Blackpool, I might have been more inclined to give it a go. But yeah, it's in a bit of a knob of a place, really. So. But yeah, let me know any recommendations for the centre of Manchester for a bit of food on Saturday, sort of dinner time, afternoonish. Right, let's do a top 5. Evening Boss, evening Ryan. Ryan, I'm going to compile a little list for you, mate. I know you go, is it next week or the week after? Oh, thank you very much for the gift. Very kind of you. You never need to. I'm going to compile a little list for you, mate, and I'll give you a bit of a comprehensive rundown. I know you've got a few bits and pieces on the list already from what I've told you, but I will send you a little list, mate, and there might be a few new bits on there. I can't remember what I've told you already, so I'll just put everything on there that I can recommend and see if you get around it or not. Amy, good evening, boss. You're in at number 2. Ryan's off to my favourite place, Benidorm, in a couple of weeks, by the way. Lisa's in at number 3, and Kelly's in at number 4, and Faye is in at number 5. Good evening, guys. You're my top 5 this evening. Faye, if anyone's WhatsApp me after about 2 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock this afternoon, I've not got through, but I will be having a look through them either after this live or tomorrow morning. I've literally just shut myself off from the world this afternoon, editing and sorting out content. It's kind of what I do on a Monday's, kind of do a bit of admin, then a bit of admin, and then a lot of content day. And then tomorrow I'll be doing the progress sheets. We'll be getting all them off. and a few other bits. And tomorrow's going to be like a full Real Lost Boss client day tomorrow. That's kind of how I sort of work it. Sheila's in. Good evening, James. Good morning. Good morning, mate. You can whatever time of day. I do not care. Charlotte's in. Good evening. Fab Monday start of the week. Great stuff, Lisa. What's Stefan done here? I've just blew up my microwave. I'm okay. I thought you can make hard-boiled eggs. You can't make. No, eggs will pop in a microwave. You can do poached eggs in a microwave, but you've got to pop the yolk. You've got to not pop the yolk, but you've got to like pierce the outer film of the yolk. Yeah, you can do hard-boiled eggs in the air fryer. I have done them. I think there's a recipe for doing them in my air fryer cookbook. But yeah, you definitely can't be microwaving eggs. No, eggs do they have air in them? They won't have actually air. I don't think eggs do have air in them because they go off if they do. I think they're pretty sealed. But if you heat them up, they will expand. Right? Generally, I think in a microwave because microwaves implode food. Microwaves heat up from the middle outwards, I think, from memory. Can't quite remember how microwaves work. Anyway, we don't need to know that. No one's that interested, are they? No, absolutely not. No. Cassie2790, good evening. I'm just going to do the good evenings, by the way, on TikTok. If you guys on Facebook, YouTube, like, who's he talking to? I'm talking to my phone. Hello, you made me go Aldi for protein goods. There's a few new bits, and there's some old returning favourites in Aldi today. The protein crumpets are back. A few people are hit and miss on those. I really like them. I can't actually tell the major difference between, in terms of flavour, I just think they taste like a standard crumpet, but they are a bit thicker and a bit stodgier, which I like. They remind me of a sourdough crumpet. Aldi do sourdough crumpets. I used to do sourdough. They remind me of them, really. Yeah, I really like the protein crumpets. I'm going to do eggy crumpets with them. So similar to like, I suppose, a French toast sort of thing, but eggy crumpets, bacon, and a bit of maple syrup one day this week. That is what I'm fancying with those. What else is back in Aldi? The protein flatbreads. They're back. I love those. The Greek flatbreads. They're back in Aldi. There's nothing wrong with the standard ones, but the protein ones aren't really that much dearer, and you do get an extra 5 to 6 grams of protein per flatbread. Every little helps. What else is back? The protein wraps are back in Aldi. I bought wraps, crumpets, and flatbreads today. I love the protein wraps, not just because they've got extra protein in. I love the flavour of them. I think they're really like nutty, quite nutty and quite chewy. So they're back today. What else did I get in Aldi? Yeah, I've done a shopping haul in Aldi. I'll talk about it in a minute. Anyway, first day of the weight loss week, smashed. Faye, we're loving that. Angela's in. Good evening. Still sat here with doors open, so it is really, really nice. I should have my door open, really. But follow you on Facebook and you force my hand. Girl Lee, I'm very, very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Yeah, if you're going to follow me, you're going to spend some money in Aldi. 500 calories today. I'm on it for what? You've only had 500 calories today. Yeah, Stefan, I know you might be trying to save some calories for Friday, but that shouldn't really be a detriment to your health. But if you're all right on 500 calories, who am I to say comment, I suppose? Anyway, bobbing for a brew, Neil. I've got a lot of clients in Manchester, actually. And obviously my mother-in-law lives there and my wife is from there. So, yeah, we do go to Manchester a lot. Not keen on the chocolate and white ball protein yogurt. So, I do like them. I'll be honest with you, I do like them. What else did I get today? I managed to get the chocolate caramel layered protein pudding. I had the white chocolate and raspberry one last week. Superb. I had the chocolate and caramel one today. Can't tell you what it was like. Why? Because the full review will be out on Friday for worth the calories. David asked on Facebook, did you try the char grilled chicken from Aldi yet? I certainly did. Again, I can't tell you. Full review will be out on Friday, but if you have bought them, you won't be disappointed. That's my honest response. And will I be buying them again? There's a very good chance. But full review will be out on Friday. I think he means he saved 500 calories, maybe. Oh, I don't know, Charlotte. No, me and Stefan have been having a chat. He's got a big weekend planned, like a big weekend, calorie-wise. So we did have a little natter about, and my advice to him was, with the amount of calories he was planning on having this weekend, I was kind of like, you're going to struggle to bank that many calories during the week to cover it, which is hence why I think he has had only 500 calories. Yeah, if you're going to eat 500 calories a day, Stefan, you're going to bank enough calories to cover your big weekend. But when we're having, every now and then we can fit a weekend out into our idea. Well, it all depends on circumstance. So James messaged me, similar to Stefan. James, my client today, messaged me, said, I want to go to the pub on Friday. Like, fancy going to the pub. What should my daily calories be to bank enough for the weekend? And I literally responded to him. Now, Stefan, when he messaged me today, he gave me a full breakdown. James didn't give me too much. I messaged James. I said, well, what are you thinking? Are you going for 4 or 5 pints? Or are you going for like a big sesh? And he messaged me back saying, probably about 5 pints, we're going to have tea. All right, so I was like, okay. So that's going to be, 5 pints is about 1,000 calories. Tea at Spoons, you can go between 500 and 2,000 calories probably. But I'm kind of in my head, I was like, 1,000 calories for a few pints, 1,000 calories for a meal if you make the right choice. I think that gives you a bit of leeway. And then I said, let's have a 500 calorie buffer just in case that 5 pints turns into 6, or just in case you fancy something a bit more calorific. And for me personally, and I just said to James, eat about 2,000 calories Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You've got 3,750 for Friday, and then you've got about 2,800 Saturday, 2,800 Sunday. So he's going to be just above his ideal deficit, daily average Saturday, Sunday. He's still got a little bit of freedom there if he wants it. He's got a really good calorie day Friday, 3,750, which is his 2,500 calories for Spoons and 1,250 calories throughout the rest of the day. He might be like, do you know what? No, I'm going to have a 300 calorie breakfast. I'm going to have a 500 calorie lunch, and that's absolutely fine. You've got to make your calories work for you. I'm just always giving you a guide. Stefan come to me with, it wasn't a 2,500 calories. It was a lot more than that. It was a big calorie sort of thing he was planning. And I just sort of said to Stefan, for me personally, I think you're going to find that very hard. So yes, bank calories, just do the best you can. But I'd actually go into this week with the mentality of it's probably going to be a maintenance week. So bank as many as you can. Go into it with a maintenance week. And, worst case scenario is maintenance. You won't lose any body fat, but you won't gain any body fat. If you do end up in some sort of deficit, you lose a little bit of body fat. But I think he was paddling too much stream. But if he's going to eat 500 calories a day, then yeah, he's going to bank those calories. But he might have meant a 500 calorie deficit. I don't know yet. He'll confirm it soon. First time I've been in Aldi for stuff. I have a little 2 minutes from my Aldi's next time. Yeah, I think, a lot of people ask why I shop at Aldi a lot. And I've explained it a few times. A lot of people think I'm paid by Aldi. I'm generally not. They don't pay me a dime. I've had 2 paid promotions in the last 3 years through Aldi. If I'm paid to promote anything, it'll say ad or partnership, paid partnership on my post, because it's not worth not putting that if you are paid, because it's against consumer rights and you can get reported and all this, that, and the other. So it's just not worth it. So if I ever do a paid partner, I've done 2 with Aldi, but I've not done anything for 2 years. And I don't really do brand collabs anymore. And I'll tell you why. My Facebook is monetized, and I actually earn more off some face. So if you do a brand collab and they pay you a certain amount for doing that video, you can't monetize that content. So whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, well, you can't monetize content on Instagram anyway. But if it's a paid promotion, you've got paid for it. You can't then monetize it from the platform. So, and a lot of the cases for me, what you get offered as paid promotion, there's always a chance that a post of something will be more than that. So I just don't really get it unless it's, unless they're going to offer me like a lot of money. And I have had a couple of those in the past. Like I said, I've done a couple with Aldi and the money was too good to turn down. So I don't really do any paid promotions with brands anymore. I'm just like, if I might just promote your product for nothing. It's not for nothing, because if it blows up, certainly on Facebook, I get paid for it anyway, So, and there's certain products blow up, certain products don't, I've had exactly 561 calories total today. Yeah, so there we go. So Stefan's really restricted himself. It isn't something I recommend, but I am your coach. I am your guide. I'm not your dad. So I can recommend you to do something. You can do it whichever way you want to. Is there an issue with Stefan trying to just have 500-600 calories a day for a few days so he can pay for a big weekend and not blow his overall calorie allowance, his normal allowance? For me personally, I just think, is it going to do him any physical harm? Not really. Is it going to do him any long-term mental harm? No, but it'll make it a very tough week this week. And, only eating X amount of calories a day, you are going to struggle a little bit. It isn't going to be the most pleasant thing in the world, certainly as you're getting through the week. Your energy levels are going to be compromised. Your mood's going to be compromised a little bit. So, if someone's trying to do that week in, week out, then yeah, it is detrimental to our health. If you're just doing it every now and then to try and pay for a big week, it's like, everyone, when you get paid at the end of the month and you've got hopefully you've got some disposable income at the end of the month, and it comes to, and you're like, well, next month I'm going on holiday. So this month I'm not spending a penny. Other than bills that go out, I'm spending nothing. You can do it for a month, right? But you wouldn't want to do it month in, month out, because it's just be detrimental to your life. It'd be, pretty hard to do it. So I'm not saying Stefan can't do it, and I'm not really criticizing him if that's what he wants to do. Would I recommend you doing that week in, week out to pay for big weekends? No. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people try to just eat, a few hundred calories every day and then just go crazy at the weekend because they want to go out every weekend, drinking, eating, and it's not good. But like I say, every now and then, how do I lose weight? The same way that every person on this planet loses weight. You need to consistently consume less calories than you burn. That is it. That's how we do it. Now, don't get me wrong. Is it as easy as that? No. Why? Because there's lots of things that go on in our lives that affect our consistency or our ability to be consistent. But directly, if you consume less calories in your body, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're 10 stone or 100 stone. It doesn't matter if you're 18 or 80. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It does not matter what is going on in your body. If you can stick to that consistent calorie deficit, you lose body fat. No one can defy the laws of physics. And that's what energy balance is, right? Energy balance is physics. It's mathematics. And that's the same with reducing any energy store. All body fat is in the body is stored energy. Think of lots of other stored energies, right? A pile of logs, if you've got a log burner, petrol in your petrol tank, batteries, right? Energy in a battery. I haven't got any batteries here. Right, energy in a battery. So a battery is an energy store. A pile of logs in your back garden for your log burner is an energy store. Petrol in your petrol tank is an energy store. Fat in your body is an energy store. How do you reduce any energy store? You use more energy and you replace it with less. You use energy, right? And you replace it with less. So if you've got a pile of logs in your back garden in January and you know it's going to be spring in 3 months and you're not going to be using your log burner, you don't burn that massive pile of logs over 3 months, and then when they run out, I'll have another 150 logs, please. Pointless. I want to reduce that energy store. So I want to replace the energy I burn with less energy. Now, it might get to the end of March and it's still a bit chilly. It was really cold this year up until probably about a month ago. And you might be like, I don't need all this energy that I had. I've got rid of it, but I need a little topper upper. So you might buy 20 logs just to get you through the next few weeks, right? That is it, right? Same with the battery. Your battery's got 100% energy. That's your body full of body fat, right? You use that energy and it drains down. If you then don't want to put all that body fat back on, you charge it, but you only charge it till it's 50% full and then take it off charge. You're putting less energy in than you've taken out. So that battery hasn't got 100% energy anymore. It's only got 50%, right? So you have 100% in a battery. You take it down to 10%, you plug it in, and then you unplug your phone at 50%, right? You've burned a load of energy, you put less energy back in, you've lost 50% of the energy of that phone. If you've got £100 of body fat to lose, you've got £100 of energy. That is 350,000 calories. If you want to get rid of that, you need to be in a 350,000 calorie deficit. Now, we still need to eat to survive because food gives us nutrition, it gives us nutrients, it gives us vitamins, minerals, and all this, that, and the other. So, if I burn in a year, right? If I burn in a year 200,000 calories, right? And I'll burn way more than that a year. I burn, let's say you burn 3,000 calories a day. That's 21,000 calories a week, right? Over a month, that's about 90,000 calories. Over a year, just freeze, let's call it 1,000,000 calories. So if you want to lose 100 pounds of body fat, right? 100 pounds of body fat is 350,000 calories. So if you burn 1,000,000 calories in a year and you want to lose 100 pounds of body fat, you need to consume over that year 650,000 calories. You eat 650,000 calories and you burn 1,000,000 calories, you will lose 100 pounds of body fat gone from your body. Why? Because you're burning a certain amount of energy and you are replacing the energy you've burnt with less energy. And that will reduce your overall energy stores, which is what weight loss is. And it doesn't matter who you are. If you consume less energy than you burn, your body will tap into your fat stores. Now, for certain people, it might do it a little bit more effectively. The body will tap into fat stores more effectively if you're overweight than if you weigh 9 stone, right? But still, if you weigh 9 stone and you eat less calories than you burn, over time, your body's still going to tap into what body fat you've got left, right? Or, what body fat you've got. So everyone, right, can lose body fat. What everyone can't do is be consistent. And a lot of people struggle with that. And a lot of people think it isn't about mathematics. It is about, and we get told so much nonsense. No, it's to do with your age. It's to do with, if you're female, it's because you're going through the menopause. It's to do with hormone imbalance. It's because you've got polycystic ovaries. Males, it's because you're losing muscle mass because of your age, or it's because of this, or it's because of that. Nothing stops you losing body fat. Now, certain conditions in the body might make it harder. Things like the menopause triggers fatigue, right? That can make you be less motivated. That can make you move less on a day-to-day basis. The menopause can give you massive emotional swings. And if your emotions are all over the place, very similar to if it's time of the month, what do we turn to when our emotions are all over the place, especially if they're negative emotions? We turn to our comfort blanket. What's your comfort blanket? If your comfort blanket is food, you're going to find it very hard to control your calorie intake, or you could find it very hard to control your calorie intake. So it doesn't matter how old you are, what's going on in your body, if you can be consistent. What we struggle with is being consistent. And that's my job as a coach. My job as a coach is to give people a method and a way where they can be consistent. Because you're going to struggle to be. I've had a lady message me today on TikTok. I don't really go through my TikTok messages that much. I get a lot of them. I get a lot from TikTok shop vendors and affiliate collab, and I can't be bothered. They're just a pain. So I don't really. But this one just popped up and I saw it. And it was literally like, I'm X amount, I'm this age, I'm just finding it physically impossible to lose weight. And then she literally told me why. She went, I've been doing intermittent fasting. I'm now doing OMAD. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Not once did she say to me, I've been eating a healthy, sustainable amount of calories. I've been working on increasing my everyday movement. I think that, no, she's just been telling me she's bouncing around from fad diet to fad diet to fad diet. And I've literally responded saying, your main issue is consistency. And you're not going to be consistent trying to eat one meal a day. Because when you're over-restricting yourself on your weight loss method, you are basically going to create, and this could be weekly, this could be monthly, but you create a binge and restrict and binge pattern. And this is one of the issues of someone like Stefan here. eating 500 calories a day. If he eats 500 calories a day, he's going to be banking over 2,000 calories a day that he's going to take into the weekend. And if he can do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, in his head, he's like, well, I've banked 800,000 calories. From Stefan only eating such a low amount of calories for 4 days, when he then goes on his night out on Friday, the over restriction just for 4 days could creep into this bingy restriction, and he might be like, well, if I only eat 2,000 calories over 4 days, that means I've got 15,000 calories for the weekend. And is there a chance he's going to blow 15,000 calories Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Maybe not, right? Because he's banking a ridiculous amount. But on the other hand, it does happen. So many people eat 1,000 calories a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then they binge at the weekend. They just completely blitz their calories. So, from what that lady was telling me on TikTok, that's where she's just in a vicious cycle, right? But when whether we've had any weight loss success or not, when you've been trying to diet for years and years and years, right? Whether you're heavier now than when you first started dieting, just putting that effort in for years and years, and it becomes demoralizing. It mentally breaks you down, right? Inside, and all your confidence is lost, and you just kind of end up in this kind of whirlwind or vortex, or there's probably a few different ways to describe it, where you just end up in this catch-22 scenario all the time, and we've got to break out of it. How important did you make macros compared to calorie deficit? They're not important. Zero. Absolutely zero. I'm in a calorie deficit and weighing everything, but can't seem to lose now. Wondering if I need to look more. Doesn't make a difference. Does not make a jot of difference. Well, I say it doesn't make a jot of difference. Directly, it doesn't make a jot of difference. The way you structure, you don't need to stick to a certain amount of protein, a certain amount of fiber, a certain amount of fat, a certain amount of carbs. That generally, directly does not make a jot of difference. You can eat nothing but white bread for a week within a calorie deficit, and you'll lose body fat. People dodge any foods that people dodge. Chocolate. No, eat chocolate all week. Nothing but chocolate within your calories. You'll lose body fat. Where how your diet is structured, and this doesn't mean you need to stick to individual macros. Where your diet can be structured is, if you do eat a decent amount of protein, do eat a decent amount of fiber, do try and get some good, fruits and veggies and vitamins and minerals into your system, you're going to be fuller for longer. You can have more energy, you can have more motivation, and all these have like an indirect knock-on effect to how consistent you can be. But if you're sat there now going, I'm sticking to my calories week in, week out, the scales aren't moving, it must be because my macros are all over the place. No. If you are sticking to your calories week in, week out, and the scales aren't moving, you're not sticking to your calories. You might think you are, but you're not. Why? That's what we need to find out, right? And that's a lot of people's issues. I do get a lot of people that come on here. Neil, I've been in a calorie deficit for 2 months. The scales haven't moved. You've not been in a calorie. No, I have. You haven't. Again, I'm not trying to sound harsh when I say that. It is the truth. I will never sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to sit here now and go, right, well, it could. So many coaches will do this. Well, it's probably because your hormones are. It is because, Chanel, it is because your macros are all wrong. Come on to my plan and let me write you the perfect macro breakdown to trigger fat loss back. I could do that. And you probably go, I knew it was my macros. I'm going to go work with that real loss boss. And I could make up some baloney. Go, yeah, well, you need to make sure you're eating, 30% of your calories are protein, 20% is fat, 50% is carbohydrates. Right. What are your calories? Right. 1,800 calories a day. Right. So 900 grams. 900 of your calories need to be carbohydrates. There's 4 calories in a carb, so you need to have 225 grams of carbohydrates a day. 30% of your calories, 300, 8 3s, 24. So 540 of your calories needs to be protein. So 540 divided by 4 is, so you need to have 135 grams of protein a day. You need to have 225 grams of carbs a day. And then whatever calories are left over, 540 plus 900, 500, and you can have 55 grams of fat a day. You need to stick to. I could tell Charnel that, and she might sign up to my plan. I'd just be lying to her. I would just be committing fraud, right? False representation, because, I mean, it's not that serious, but, I'm misleading her because it's absolute nonsense, right? Because macros, what your macros are made up of, doesn't matter. I'm not going to sit here and tickle someone's chin because I will never tell you what you want to hear. I will tell you the truth all the time. If you can't handle the truth, if you don't want to hear that or accept it, I'm sorry, but that's all you'll get from me. Does that make sense? Could it also be they've calculated calories wrong? Of course it could. 100%, So Charnel, yeah, it could be that you've calculated your calories wrong. I'll be honest with you. It is very, very rare that people are sticking to a calorie allowance that does not put them into a deficit. So what we're saying is, if we're sticking to a certain amount of calories every day, so this person says, I'm sticking to my calories week in, week out, and bang on it, right? If you are genuinely sticking to your calories, what you're basically saying is the calorie allowance that you've got, whether that's come from a free online calorie calculator, whether it's just come from someone that's sat there tapping away, send in your details and I'll give you a free calorie breakdown and all this, that, and the other, whether it's one of them, right? Or whether you've signed up with a professional or you've just used NutriCheck or whatever, right? It is extremely rare that the calories you're sticking to would be your maintenance calories. But it could be that. It could be that. Most of the time, it is because people think they're sticking to a certain amount of calories and they're not. And it could be that binge and restrict mentality. It could be the fact that you're trying to stick to the same calories every single day, which you're great at Monday to Friday. But then when Saturday, Sundays come and the temptation of going out for a meal or going to the pub for a couple of drinks draws you in, and you kind of forget about that 16 Porn Star martinis you had on Saturday night. It was only 16 Porn Star martinis. What does that make a difference? I was in my deficit Monday to Friday, so just a little bit of a treat on a Saturday won't make a jot of difference. Well, it does, because 16 Porn Star martinis is 3,250 calories. Gone. Yeah? So there is, there's what is considered a plateau? How many weeks maintaining? Thank you. 4 or more. 4 or more. If you get into 4 weeks, that is when we'd start to go, something's going on here. If it goes over 4 weeks, that's when we'd start to delve in a little bit and find out what's going on. Less than 4 weeks, standard natural fluctuations within the body, water weight, food weight, excess water retention could be counterbalancing fat loss. Most people can comfortably lose 4 to 6 pounds of body fat in a month. Could we end up in a situation where over a month, water weight, food weight, excess water retention can counterbalance up to 4 to 6 pounds of fat loss? Yeah, we have to accept that could happen. As we go past 4 weeks, where your weight loss should be 7 or 8 pounds now, 9 or 10 pounds, unless you've had like a big week of overindulgence. I can go on holiday for a week, especially if I go to a hot country, and I can come back 10, 11, 12 pounds heavier. Is it all body fat? Absolutely not. Is the majority of it excess food weight, excess water weight, excess water retention? Yeah. But if you're just, day-to-day, normal, routine, yeah, the chances of natural fluctuations in the body counterbalancing fat loss on the scales for more than 4 weeks is pretty much non-existent. It's not going to happen. All right. So then we need to, like I say, delve in and find out why you're not being consistent. What are you saying for Wednesday night, boss? Honestly, I just wish we weren't playing a Premier League team. I know that sounds stupid. We've been decent in Europe, and I know the standard in Europe's nowhere near like Champions League standard. But to be fair, Athletic Bilbao, best defence in Europe, never beaten at home since last August, and we've done them twice. Now we're playing a Premier League team. Are we going to turn into Premier League Man United? Because if that's the case, we'll get beat, right? So I just don't. I'm absolutely on the fence with it. If we were playing even Athletic Bilbao or an AC Milan or some decent teams, or even something like Marseille or something like that, I'd be a lot more confident because we've dispatched some decent teams in Europe. But yeah, and Spurs, are they going to be Spurs or are they going to turn it on? You just never know with Spurs. You just don't know. The only thing is, they're worse than us. They're 17th in the league. We're 16th. We are as bad as each other. So I have no idea which way it's going to go. Right, let me scan down. Anna, good evening. Let's see what I've missed. Let me scan down and have a go through. I'm trying to get Nicole's brother to come into the community. He's lost £17 in 3 weeks, which I explained he's being too restrictive. Yeah, probably. Don't get me wrong. I don't know what he weighs. He could have had a big whoosh from that. But £17 in 3 weeks, unless it is from a big whoosh, sounds like he's being a bit restrictive. He's also missing chocolate. I've told him there's no need to miss it. Yeah, too many people go to too many extremes when it comes to weight loss, Right, I've eaten 2100 today and burned 950 according to NutriCheck. Is that enough? You won't have burned 950, Paul. Don't connect any of your fitness trackers to NutriCheck. I talk about this all the time. Paul, you burn way more than 950. Your 950 calories that your watch is showing is just from movement. What about your metabolism? Paul, you know how many calories you burn in a day. I've given them to you, right? So your average calorie burn. And to be honest with you, I was pretty pessimistic with your calorie burn. Let me get your calories up. So I don't know what your movement is at the moment, but no, you burn 3,332 calories a day on average, and you've eaten 2,100, which means you're in a 1,200 calorie deficit today, Paul. So yeah, that's more than enough, mate. Flipping heck, 350,000 calories for 100 pounds. That's basically what I'm at. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's 350 calories. Yeah, absolutely. I must have more energy than British Gas. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that's all body fat is stored energy. So, I was 514 pounds when I started my weight loss journey. And in my head, I was like, I need to lose 300. Now, I've lost 250. I'm a bit more than that now. I'm about 270 odd where we stand at the moment. But yeah, so let's say 270 pounds. That means on average, since the beginning of February 2014, I have consumed 945,000 calories less than I've burned to be at this point. 900. I've consumed nearly 1 million calories less. Now, I'll be honest with you, I lost about 240 pounds in what I called my first weight loss phase. That was 3 years, 9 months. So 240 times 3,500 is 840,000. So for the first 3 years, 9 months, on average. Now, I lost 140 pounds in my first 12 months, 10 stone. So in my first 12 months of my weight loss journey, I was nearly 500,000 calories less in a year. In the first year of my weight loss journey, I consumed nearly 500,000 calories less than I burned. And when you think of it like that, that is a lot of calories. That is a lot of calories to consume less. There's not many people in the world that burn 500,000 calories divided by 52. Oh, well, sorry. No, but half of it is a 9,500 calorie deficit in a week. So divide that by 7. I was averaging a 1,400 calorie deficit a day. A lot of people do burn 1,400 calories in a day, but not much more, For most people to go in that sort of, if you burn the average, it says like on nutritional labels, the average adult's at about 2,000 calories a day. That doesn't really take any activity into account. It's 2,000 calories a day. That means you'd have to eat 600 calories a day if you only burn 2,000 to lose the weight that I lost in a year. 4,200 steps recorded for me. So you're probably burning a bit more because I based your calories, Paul, off you doing 2,000 to 3,000 steps a day. So you're probably on a bit more of a calorie burn than what I said. So yeah, you're all good, mate. You're all good. What's the recommended deficit to lose a pound a week? 500 a day on average, 3,500 over a week. This is a perfect anatomical representation of a pound of body fat. If you lose a pound of body fat, this is gone from your body. Now you might be slightly going, look at the size of it. It is big, But what you need to remember is when you lose body fat, it comes off in little bits all over your body. Where you store more, it will come off more there than, it'll come off. There'll be a bit more that comes off your tummy than will come off your calves, for instance. But that's a pound of body fat. And if you want to lose one of those every week, you need to consume 3,500 calories less than you burn. You do that for a year, on average, 52 of those will be gone out of your body. Yeah. Let me scan down and see what I have missed. Is anyone else this time of year? I'm rubbing my eyes like mad. I need to go and take my contacts out. Struggling with a bit of hay fever. I just think, like, round here, I get hay fever worse when leaves are dropping in November. That is when I get that's when I get hay fever really bad. But at the moment, they're cutting grass around here everywhere, and my breathing feels a bit tight, and my eyes, I don't know if you can see, but my eyes are a little bit itchy. Does anyone else suffer with hay fever this time of year? But yeah, they're doing a lot of silaging around my way at the moment. So yeah, it's a tough time. I need to take out. I was trying to find some today. I've got some somewhere. I need to take an antihistamine. I've been told I should be eating 1,840 calories, and I'm not losing. Can you help? So, first of all, Zoe, who's told you should eat 1,840 calories? And it all depends if 1,840 calories puts you into a deficit. If you've been eating 1,840 calories and you're not losing, that tells us that 1,840 calories is your maintenance level, which, to be honest with you, not many people are going to have a maintenance of 1,840 unless you're very light or very lazy. That's the honest truth of it. If you're very sedentary or you're very light, 1,840 calories is not that much of a calorie burn. So I would suggest 1,840 calories would put you into a deficit. Boss for Amy. I actually have no idea. I've only ever seen her when she pops up on a live and she's just like that. She literally calculates people's calories in about 30 seconds. I think she just plucks them out of thin air. The free ones that she does. I don't know. But I'm 218 pounds. All right. Zoe, if you're 218 pounds and you're not losing weight eating 1,840 calories, the honest truth is you're not eating 1,840 calories. Now we need to find out why. I don't care what your app says, right? If your app says you're eating 1,840 calories consistently on average, day in, day out, and you're not losing weight, your app's inaccurate, right? So why are you inaccurate with tracking your calories? Is there gaps in your diary? Are you underestimating things? Are you weighing your food? Are you being as accountable as possible? Are you tracking Monday to Friday and being a bit lax at the weekend? What is the reason? We need to find it, right? Once we find out why. Now, I'm not saying 1,840 is your ideal deficit, right? Some days it is under at 16. Like I said, I don't care what your app says, right? What your app says and what you're actually doing are two different things. So what we need to do is we need to increase your accuracy in your calorie counting. So we just need to find out why you're not in that, why you're being inaccurate with your tracking. Because like I say, fat loss is down to thermodynamics. If you're burning X amount and you're eating Y, which means you're consistently consuming less, you lose body fat, right? No one defies the laws of thermodynamics. No one can defy the laws of physics. If you were the one person on this planet where you didn't lose energy, even though you are burning more energy than you are consuming, you would be a billionaire. You might be an experiment, you might be a rat in a lab, but you would be the one miracle on this planet. And they try and find the key, because if they can find the key in you for what allows you to not use excess energy, we would literally solve any crisis where energy is needed, right? So that's the honest truth of it. Like I say, I'm not being harsh when I say that. It is the honest truth, right? And it's a common thing. A lot of people are inaccurate at tracking their calories, So are you guesstimating too much? Are you not? I would say, prime example, Rachel went for dinner with her mum the other week and they went for a carvery. And her mum started tracking the calories. And her mum had this carvery and started entering into her app. And Rachel was like, how much are you tracking that as? She was like, 600. Rachel was like, absolutely not. Asked me and I went, 1,200. And Rachel was like, no, there's no way there's 1,200 calories in that. I was like, yeah, there is. There's 1,200 calories. It's cauliflower cheese, big Yorkie pudding, deep fried roast potatoes. It's not a roast that I might make where it's air fried roast potatoes and a little Yorkie pud like that and lean meat. No, there's 1,200 calories in that calorie. So we just need to find out why. Once you find out why, you will then consistently lose weight. Right? We can find out why. And there's always an answer. I've never been beaten yet. Feel so bloated from eating 120 grams of protein a day. Is that normal? It's different strokes to different folks. Are you definitely sure it's protein that's making you bloated? If anyone's suffering with bloating after eating, reduce your portion sizes a little bit. Go for a walk. It's one of the best things to help digestion of food is movement, right? Not intense movement because that'll give you indigestion. But honestly, we have tea, me and Rach, and within 20 minutes of having tea, we're off out on a walk. We've done it tonight. Like we had tea at 20 to 7, 7 p.m. We're off down lane, took the dogs in the fields, half an hour walk. It is one of the best things to aid digestion. Is it definitely protein that's causing you to bloat? If it is, what protein are you eating? Right? Are you taking a lot of protein? Is it the type of protein you're eating? Is it protein from dairy? Is it protein from meat? Is it protein from eggs? Is it protein from plant sources? Again, there's always an answer. We just need to find it. Right. Let me scan down. I'm 108 pounds and on 1,800 calories and losing 1 to 2 pounds a week. That's pretty decent, Kate, to be honest with you. It's not, someone that's 180 pounds, I'd rather you lose a pound a week than 1 to 2, because if you're losing 1 to 2, but again, some weeks you're losing a pound, some weeks you're losing 2, some weeks you're losing 1.5. Like, what is your average? How you know what your average weight loss is? Don't look at your weight loss for the first week or two. So let's say you've been on a weight loss journey for 12 weeks. Don't look at a week or two. Look at week 2 check-in, right? Whether you're weighing weekly or fortnightly or whether you're weighing daily, give it 10 to 14 days. What is that weight? And then what's your current weight, say 10 weeks later, and then divide that by 10. So you might have lost in total 17 pounds over 12 weeks, right? Which isn't too bad. But if from start of your journey to end of week 2, you lost 7, that's your whoosh. Yes, there will have been some body fat in there, but that's not body fat loss. Not total body fat loss. If you've been consistent from there on in, so let's say from week 2 up until week 12, so the next 10 weeks, that is predominantly going to be fat loss on average. So take that, divide it. So you might be like, yeah, from week 2 to week 12, I lost 10 pounds. You've been at this 10 weeks, pound a week on average. Good, nice, healthy, sustainable fat loss. That's what you want to be sort of looking at. I think I'm eating too little. If I increase calories, will the scale start to move down again? So if you're eating too little, you will still lose weight, right? None of this starvation mode nonsense where, if you're not eating enough, you won't lose weight. No, the bigger the deficit, the more weight you'll lose. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're not very heavy, you could get some metabolic adaptation and a few hormone imbalances from under eating, which might slow weight loss down, but the scales will still come down. Look at people with eating disorders. They don't just get to a certain weight and stop losing weight because they're a certain weight or they're not eating enough. No, they keep losing and losing and losing and losing, and that's where the big issue comes in. If you start eating more, it might make you more consistent with actually sticking to your calories. And again, this is what happens. Scales haven't moved for 4 weeks, and I've been eating 1,000 calories a day. Well, first of all, you haven't been eating 1,000 calories a day. By trying to stick to such a low amount of calories means you're being really inconsistent in what you're doing. You might think you're eating 1,000 calories a day, but actually no, you're eating more like 2,000 on average, 2,500. by moving from eating 1,000 calories a day to 1,800 calories a day, as long as you're still in a deficit, it's a lot more sustainable sticking to 1,800, and you'll be a lot more accurate. And again, it's that restrict and binge mentality. I might do a weight loss coaching live on restrict and binge mentality this week, because a few people seem to be mentioning it. I've lost my pad. I haven't lost my pad. I've left it in the house. Let's do, I've not done one on this for a bit. Let's do restrict and binge diet, and we'll do that Thursday at 5 o'clock. I haven't quite decided what to. I've got about two or three topics I want to cover in tomorrow's live, which is 11 a.m. Remember, guys, for the next few weeks, while I'm covering spin on a Tuesday evening, the weight loss coaching lives in the community are 11 a.m. Tuesday, 5 p.m. on Thursday. And this week's weight loss coach, everything weight loss session is at 8:30 a.m. on Friday. All right. I'm tracking and I'm eating 1,900 a day, but apparently I should be eating 2,200-ish. Jake, if your healthy, sustainable calorie allowance is 2,200 and you're eating 1,900 is not ridiculous. You're not. If your calorie allowance is 2 to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, and you're eating 1,900, then you'd be losing 2 pounds a week. You wouldn't stop losing weight. So you're just being inaccurate. Again, you're not being consistent, and that is what you need to start being. You need to start being more consistent to drive the results. You might think you're eating 1,900 a day. Now, again, we've got to look at time frames. If you're like, the scales haven't moved for a week or two, you can't look into it. You only look into your weight loss plateauing, stalling, maintaining if it's 4 weeks or more. So if you're like, no, I've lost for 5 weeks in a row, and then I weighed on Friday and I didn't lose. Right, well, that's just a natural fluctuation counterbalancing the scales. Just crack on as normal, right? Excited to episode 53. It will be my morning gym listen with podcasts are honestly 10 out of 10. Say, that's very kind of you. Yes, guys, I totally forgotten. I put episode 53 of the podcast on YouTube a couple of weeks ago, and I forgot to upload it to Spotify, all my standard like YouTube, other podcast platforms. I've done it this morning. So if you only listen to my podcast through like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, so on and so forth, it's on there now. So you've got a new one. And I'm going to try and record a new podcast this week and get it out maybe Thursday or Friday. Friday's worth the calories, so I'll try and get it out Thursday, and I'll try and put it on all platforms straight away. Yeah. If my maintenance is 2,500 and I eat 1,500 with about 140, 160 grams of protein at 18, is that good? No, too restrictive, Els. If your maintenance is 2,500, eat 2,000 calories a day, right? That'll be more healthy, it'll be more sustainable. You get more long-term success. Don't worry about the amount of protein. Just aim to have a high-protein diet. How do you aim to have a high-protein diet without tracking a specific amount of protein? Just prioritize protein with each main meal. When you're going to have your breakfast, the first thing you should base your breakfast on is a protein source. So what are you having? Yogurt, eggs, bacon? What's your protein source, right? If you want to have a carb source as your breakfast, like crumpets or toast, have a protein shake alongside it to give you a boost of protein. Yeah. Hey, what's the podcast called? It is literally called The Real Lost Boss Podcast, I think. Let me try. It's literally called The Real Lost Boss Weight Loss Podcast. It's on YouTube. On YouTube, it is called The Real Lost Boss Podcast. The RLB Weight Loss Podcast, it's called on YouTube. I think on Spotify, let me find it on Spotify, which is what it'll be called on every other platform. Let me try and find me. I'm on a different playlist. Let me just put in The Real Lost Boss. And I should be able to show you, to be honest with you. Here it is. Oh, it's called that on Spotify. It's called the RLB. Where is it? There you go. The RLB Weight Loss Podcast. All right, here we are. Flip camera. There it is. The RLB Weight Loss Podcast. And as you can see there, episode 53 has gone on today. The RLB Weight Loss Podcast. Is weight loss all in your head? That is today's podcast. This is season 2. Season 3 will start in July. Basically, I started the podcast in 2023, July 2023. There's 53 episodes on there. And yeah, every July now, I just do a new season. So this is, I mean, I've continually called it episode 52, episode 53, but it should be broken down. I don't know if it is broken down into seasons, to be honest with you. Anyway, there you go. There's the podcast for you. Lots of episodes on there. If you've never listened to the podcast before, you've got 53 episodes to go at. The first one is episode 1, The Real Lost Boss, an introduction to The Real Lost Boss. Episode 2 is why your weight loss journey needs to be a lifestyle change. Episode 3, calorie deficit is not a diet. Episode 4, are you really overweight? All right, so there's lots of bits and pieces like that. I'm going to try and record a new podcast this week. Found it, thank you. Brilliant, Jenny. Enjoy. I'm going to be busy at work tomorrow. Hopefully, it will give you a little bit of, no pun intended, some food for thought. Boss, you should have your own series on Netflix. Well, that would be absolutely fantastic. If anyone works for Netflix and they'd like to get me on Netflix, I would be more than happy. You don't even need to pay me a lot. Yes, that would be absolutely super. Must watch episode 53. Yeah, you can watch it. You can listen to it. I don't know if you can. I think you can watch it on Spotify. You can definitely watch it on YouTube. I do record it in front of a camera, in front of this camera here. Yeah, and I think it is a video podcast on Spotify if you want it to be. I don't know.
Welcome to the Real Lost Boss podcast.
I'm playing it now.
Hello, and welcome to episode 53 of the Real Lost Boss podcast. Is weight loss all in your head? We are in an obesity epidemic.
There you go. Anyway, that's me waffling on. Have a listen. You can watch the Spotify. I thought you could. Yeah, it is a video platform as well. Right, let me scan down. See what's going on. I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to bed. What we're watching, I tried putting it up to 2,000, but I found that I stopped losing weight. Els, if you stop losing weight at 2,000, then your maintenance isn't 2,500. Or you just, if you're putting it at 1,500 and losing, and then not losing at 2, something doesn't, the maths is not mathing there. So if your maintenance is 2,000, whether you're at 1.5 or at 2,000 or at 2,250, you're going to consistently lose weight. It's just the losses would be different because the deficit's smaller. So maybe you just maybe you just need to work on your accuracy a little bit. What's the best way to calculate your calorie deficit? Me. I don't give out free calorie calculations. I give professional full calorie breakdowns in your email, and they are about as accurate a calorie breakdown. Yes, they're going to be slightly guesstimated. Why? Because we do not have something to compare the number against other than the fat we are losing. You can actually create your own calorie deficit. At the end of the day, it is a numbers game. A pound of fat loss is a 3,500 calorie deficit. If you want to work out exactly what your ideal calorie deficit is to lose a pound a week, it would take you a few months, but you can do it. Basically, pick a number, 2,500, 3,000 a day. Eat that amount for a couple of weeks, right? Then weigh yourself, right? Because that'll get rid of any whoosh. Then weigh yourself, right? And then eat that amount for 4 weeks consistently, 3,000 calories a day. What are the scales doing? Because like I say, over 4 weeks, once your whoosh is gone, the scales are going to pretty much just represent fat loss and fat gain. Yes, you will see daily fluctuations if you weigh daily. You might see some fluctuations that affect the scales weekly. You might see the odd one monthly, fortnightly. Over 4 weeks, unless you and this can happen, you can just catch the scales at the wrong time. But generally over 4 weeks, certainly if you're going to weigh like on a Friday, you weigh first thing in the morning, you're being a bit more conscious a couple of days. I would never want people to over-restrict themselves a couple of days before weighing, but you can kind of give yourself the best chance. So, going and eating a 2,500, even if it's within your calories for the week, going and eating a 2,500 calorie Chinese the day before you're going to weigh in is probably going to affect the accuracy on the scales a little bit because you're going to eat a lot of food in one hit. You're going to eat a lot of refined carbs. You're going to eat a lot of salt. That's going to cause a lot of excess water retention and increase in food weight. That's going to counterbalance the scales a little bit the next day. But over 4 weeks, what have the scales done? I've lost £2. Right, so if you've lost £2, that means you've been in a 7,000 calorie deficit. So you've been in a deficit. 3,000 calories a day is putting you into a deficit. It's just not a very big one. So we need to reduce it. So you've been in a 7,000 calorie deficit over 4 weeks. Let's divide that by 28. So you've been in a 250 calorie deficit a day. So now go and eat 2,750 calories a day. Now you're in a 500 calorie deficit and you'll lose £1. Boom, you've just worked out what your calorie allowance is. There is trial and error. You'll never hit it that accurate. It will take you a good few weeks to figure it out. If you can't be asked doing that, TikTok profile, click on my link tree, come join my community. It's £5 for your first month using code WELCOME. You can cancel anytime. There's no contract. And as part of your first month subscription to my community, I will give you a full calorie breakdown. That's just thought then. I've just worked out some calories for someone. I don't think I've sent them. No, I have sent them. Yes, you will get a full calorie you'll get a full calorie breakdown from me, and it will include your maintenance calories, your metabolism, and it will include what I recommend your calorie allowance is. And if you stick to the calories that I give you consistently, on average, over a year, the number that's in green, you will lose 52 of those in a year. This time next year, you will be nearly 4 stone lighter. Yeah? Right, that's me, you lovely people. I am out of here. I am done for today. It is time for bed. I don't know what we're watching tonight. There's a good few documentaries that have come on the old Netflix. So I think that is what we're going to have a little look at. I'm definitely ready for bed. Strawberries and a protein bar is going to go on the old snacky snoo. Yeah, right. I'm back tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. We're on the old TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. And then I don't know if I put it in as 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. tomorrow on the newsletter. I can't remember. But anyway, either 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. after the weight loss live, after the TikTok, Facebook, YouTube live, there will be a weight loss coaching live. And I will send you all the details of that in the morning. I'll tell you what the topics are for the weight loss coaching lives this week before 8:30 a.m. before the TikTok, Facebook, YouTube live with all the Zoom links. So I'm going to get in the office before I do my first live for social media, and I'll sort everything out and I'll put it in the WhatsApp community. So you've got the links there. But as always, I will. As always, I will always broadcast out when I jump on a live if it's if you're on planning in the community with me. So there's no need for you to miss it. Right, guys, enjoy the rest of your evening. Like I say, if you would like to come on board, join my community, or come on my one-to-one plan and have me actually coach you one-to-one on your weight loss journey. TikTok profile, Facebook page, YouTube page. Click on my link tree. Send over an inquiry form. Yeah. Send over an inquiry form or send over or just sign up. You can just sign up for the links. But if you want to touch base with me first before signing up, send over an inquiry form and I'll send you all the details directly, and then you can email me back and ask me any questions. Right, I'm going. I've got to bed. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll be back. I can't tell you because my watch is dead. In 10 hours, 11 hours? 11 and a half hours. I'll see you then. TikTok, sign off to you first. And then we will sign off to you guys. Facebook, YouTube. If you're free, I will hopefully see you in the morning.